When I first told my friends and family about this, they treated it as a phase. I mean, I've always been a little bit different, I dressed a little bit different, and so they thought it was something I was going to phase out of. I was 11 at a family friend's party, and they ask you the typical question you ask children. It's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I told him I wanted something in the medical field because I wanted to help people, but I love science. And he kind of tells me, he looks at me, he's like, well, my job is science and I help people. And I was like, well, what do you do? He's like, I'm an embalmer. And ever since then, that's kind of where the love story started. My name is Jasmine Berrios. I am a duly licensed funeral service practitioner, meaning I am a licensed funeral director and embalmer. So this is our chapel, and this is where folks come in. And usually right here is where we would set up a guest book, any memorial items like photo enlargements so they get greeted by the person, you know, or it's just a more warm environment when they see things of that person in here. A day in my job is different every single day. It is so unique, and that's what I love about it. So in the morning we can prepare people to go to cremation. I can start my day embalming. I can start my day setting up for a funeral service. I could be going to a cemetery doing a burial. I could prepare people for a burial at sea. I mean, every day is just diverse, and that's the beauty of it. Every day is unique. Today, I am being honored for Young Funeral Director of the Year for California State, and it's more than just the accolade. The title is one thing, but it's being recognized for the work that I love pouring myself into, and that's just so humbling to me.
It is my great honor to announce this year's Young Funeral Director of the Year. May I have my sweet little dumpling, Jasmine Berrios of Rose Family Funeral Homes, come up to the stage.
It is an immeasurable pleasure to serve the community, but an equal privilege to be a part of helping the profession step into the future and expand in new and exciting ways. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I think the misconception most folks have is that it's morbid and doom and gloom all the time, when really it's the complete opposite. It's to be a service to people. It is to make the grief lighter. It is not to make things heavier. And your appearance cannot be doom and gloom either. You have to be put together because it's a really, really important event to someone. So I think it's people think the funeral industry is one way when really it's not. It's the complete opposite, it's calm. I think there's already a negative connotation with the funeral profession of being just a factory when we're more than that. We're professionals, we go to school, we sacrifice ourselves. You know, like any other profession, we had to do a lot to be in the position that we're in, and we care about what we do. It's not a factory. I think being a part of something that's so much bigger than you is so important, and I just love the funeral industry for, I think, many reasons. My friends are very proud of me. I don't think they really understood what the funeral profession was about. They had a lot of questions and just big reactions, neither good nor bad, more so curiosity. My family, I don't think they would have chosen this profession for me, but like everyone else, a lot of questions. The main question that people ask me is, aren't you scared? I think the scariest part is what happens before death. The scariest part has already happened. Death is final, it's already done. I think it's not scary. I think with life comes death. I think it's very natural. So I don't think it's scary at all. When I meet someone new, people's reactions are very big. I think the curiosity just explodes out of them, and they just have so many questions because they don't normally meet a mortician, is usually what they tell me. I've never met a mortician. I've never met anyone in the funeral profession. And so they just start asking an array of questions, and they start bringing into the conversation their own personal stories with death, pretty much 90% of the time. I definitely think young people have a different attitude of death versus the older generation. I think we have a lot more access to different things because of social media. Social media has really been a catalyst for that conversation of mental health, as a, you know, and death education. So I think we've had different resources versus the generations before us. So I think we have a different attitude of it because it's been more normalized. I think it'd be an honor if someone were to tell me one day, I got into funeral service because of you, or I want to help the community because of you. Anyone who wants to be on this path as well, and if I could help them, it would be an honor, honestly.